Welcome back to Death Metal Daddies. I'm Jeff,
I'm Cam Brady.
and you're listening to Special Election Night Death Metal Daddies.
Da-da-da-da.
Hey,
Get
welcome
out and
back.
cast your vote. Well, I guess the votes will be over by the time this is out. So,
Yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed their vote, whether they won or not.
hmm
I should probably stop checking this. I'm actually more interested in just the Missouri stuff. Uh, Josh Hawley won Senate.
yeah, I kind of figured. Since already on it, but on the topic, on that ballot, it's like I don't know about your county, but like we didn't even have any opponents for the sheriff, and it's so like I remember when he got elected last session, and he had like a couple opponents, but this one he just didn't have any. And so it's just
Mhm.
like, man, that's kind of a give me for him.
Yeah, we had
So it's
about
just like,
4 or 5 like that.
wow. Yeah, and I mean it's like if these people just get in, dude, it's I don't know. It's kind of crazy because if you really don't do your research and know these people, then it's like I feel like so many people, I guess I'm saying this because there was definitely some people I just filled in tonight. And I kind of hate that because I just I didn't look into every single person on that ballot. Like even the judges, the the what are that retaining their seats and stuff like that. It's
Mhm.
like I don't know all those judges. I don't know all their history, what they have judged on, what they haven't. I mean, so if you really want to be a good voter, like it forces you into politics, man.
Yeah,
So I
I
don't
have a
know. It's just
I have a rule of thumb
it's a
with the
pain in the
judges.
ass.
With the judges, I literally every year I vote no. Let's just get some new blood in there. I don't care if they've done what I want. Just get them out of there. Let's get some new ones in
Well,
there. Shake things
all
up.
right.
But
Interesting.
I so it looks like so far Amendment 2 is 51% yes, Amendment 3 is 54% yes, Amendment 5 is 52% no,
Hmm.
6 is 61% no, 7 is 67% yes, and Prop
That was the
A
minimum.
minimum wage was Prop A, and that's voting. That's
Oh, okay.
yes, 59%.
And what was Amendment 7?
That was the one that was
Mhm.
very weirdly worded, and I'm actually not happy they did this way. So
Oh, was
it's
it
a
the
two,
law enforcement like
no.
funding?
This is the one that's two parts. The first part says to make it in the Missouri Constitution to where only legal citizens can vote in the Missouri election,
Oh yeah, and then they
and
fucking added other shit. Yeah.
and to prohibit the use of rank voting, which I'm all about. Like, let us use rank voting. I feel like that is a better system.
So what's the difference, I guess? Or what's the opposite of rank voting?
So, rank voting, how it's been explained to me, is you can rank however many you want, like one, two, three, four. Obviously, your first candidate's the number one. So, when that happens, if your number one is nowhere close to getting the vote, like let's say they only got like Jill Stein's 0.4% right now for the country. Let's say your top candidate's only 0.4%. Instead of your vote going to them, it goes to your number two, and so on and so forth until it's someone who's actually in the running. And my thinking is if you
Mm,
have that, it makes people vote outside of the binary of Republican, Democrat. They will actually vote for people who is more aligned with their views. So it gives more room for third party candidates. And I think it would be better to where if you have multiple Democratic candidates, multiple Republican candidates, to where it is a better system, in my opinion, to where we can actually, as a country, vote for who we think aligns better instead of voting against the other
no,
person, which I
people
feel like
outside
most people
the
are doing.
yeah. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, that one was some fishy wording. I noticed that because I was I believe I was all for the first part, but then I was like, wait, what's the whole ranking shit? I didn't really understand that. So,
Well, that's the tricky part because if you look, so on the ballot, I don't think it said it, but if you, I looked on the website, it's already, it's already state law that not only citizens can vote. They put it on there to where it's you just add it to the Constitution, and that's the only difference. So
hmm,
really, I feel like it's more trickery to make it seem like, oh, we don't have a law
yeah,
kind of thing.
right. Yeah, that's some fuckery there. And so what's that percentage at currently? Yes for
That is
that
at
or
yes, and that's another thing. My wife Danny wanted to vote to have it to where we could rank vote, so she voted yes, but it says prohibit uh rank voting, and it's at 67% yes. So it's going to pass where it will prohibit rank voting and put the only legal citizens can vote into the Missouri Constitution.
hmm, interesting. Very interesting. I don't know. That's a tough one, man. And then like the Amendment 5, that was the casino riverboat allowance, right? And
Yeah.
I was a hell no on that one because, they wanted to advertise it all on commercials and shit for it's going to go to public education, blah blah blah. This is going to help schools, but if like it clearly says just 10%. And in my opinion, like okay, that's not bad, but it's not enough, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's like Missouri lottery earnings, 4%, I believe, goes to public education. But look at what that does. I mean, what does it
Yeah.
do? I mean, hardly anything. My taxes at the end of every year, the biggest one goes to my fucking school district. And,
Hmm.
I'm not, I used to complain about that. I don't anymore because I have children. And I think, to
Hmm.
delve into that shit, you really need to, I don't know that you really need to have kids, but that's kind of what it took for me to get a better understanding of it. But it, I like that I'm supporting public education, but also if in place, then why can't we just chip a little bit more towards that and
Hmm.
reduce the tax of the citizens? It's like 10% is just not enough. How much that they're going to be making buku bucks off of that, and then not to mention the crime that's going to come from that, the homes that are going to become broken because of people that are gambling addicts that can't control you know, their issues and their habits, and so it's just yeah, no, I'm good,
I
good on that,
gotcha.
man, and especially right here at the fucking lake.
Yeah. What? So I voted. I didn't really care one way or the other on that one because I don't know. I also remember you talking about there's also talking about building a separate casino up there as well. Uh, but
Yeah, and
also,
and I think going to be more locally
mm,
voted and based. I don't know. There's a lot of rumors about it that it's kind of sidelined currently because it's gotten a lot of backlash. But I know that they came out and they were just like, oh, not one but two casinos could potentially come here. It's just like I don't know. I foresee that one's probably going to happen. I think
yeah.
that one is probably just inevitable because it seems to be kind of like a fucking. It's becoming like a rich people paradise. That's what they're kind of trying to turn it into. The strips
Hmm.
become nothing but lake party bars up and down. So I don't know.
Yeah.
There's only
And
so
then,
much, you can control. But
yeah, then they had the sports betting one. And I was all for that. I did see someone though have a counter argument, and I think it's an interesting theory. Um, and that was they're worried that because like the casino one, the profit is supposed to go to Missouri education. Like, yeah, why would you be against that? And like, and they brought up the point is like, if if people are already seeing because they already pull money from the public education in Missouri a lot because we're like the lowest paid
yeah,
in the country, if they see
yeah,
that money's kind of be coming in from those other things, they're going to pull the public funding out to where it's just being these
mm,
schools are just going to be paid for by casinos and the lottery. So I can
yeah,
kind of see that, but
hmm. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's yeah, it's a tough one. Yeah, I said going into this I wasn't going to be into it, but I'm like following the updates all night and shit, and I'm just like, oh. Yeah, as an adult, you just kind of get sucked into it, man.
yeah, yeah,
But I will say it's like a surprising lead right now. Trump's
Yeah,
at a
198.
pretty impressive. I'm reading 210 on Google right now.
Really?
Yeah, and Kamala's
Up to
showing
it.
112.
Yeah. And Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin and Minnesota are showing red. Well,
That's crazy.
light red.
Big
It's
ones.
not called yet.
Right. It's not finalized, but that is crazy. That's pretty wild. I really thought Kamala was going to get Pennsylvania.
Yeah, because really all she would need is those four, and that would pretty much be it. Because that
Yeah,
was my
yeah,
thinking.
exactly. I mean that's what they called like the blue line
Hmm.
um up in those states. So that's but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about
Anyways,
some. Uh,
yeah.
how have you been? How's your past week been?
Yeah. Pretty good, man. We had Halloween following our last episode, so that was a blast. The girls, it was a really fun age for them to get out this year. I got into it. I feel like the whole household got into it. We all dressed up, so that was really fun to do. It's been like years since I've really gotten into dressing up. I mean, last year I think we kind of did like a Mario theme, but we just kind of loosely based our outfits off of it. This year was a little more in tune. Like Lux was a zombie cheerleader, so I decided to be like the zombie dad, and then Stella was a kitty, and so Lex decided to be like the mama kitty. So we kind of had two themes going. So that was cool. But yeah, got out for trick or treating. But we're in like a smaller rural town, so like I guess we got out too late. I don't know. We got out around 7, but dude, I felt like homes were done by 8:30. I was
Yeah,
like, this is bullshit, man. Like I remember as a kid, like going out at like 9, like walking until like 10:30, but that was also in Kansas City. So I don't know. Maybe the cities are more popping for Halloween.
yeah.
Did you guys do anything for that or?
For Halloween, we went to we did something, then we came back and it was already getting late, so we stopped by Lowe's. Kids are already in costume, so we went to Lowe's. They did like a trick or treat event there. Then we went back to Crane and we took them to there's a haunted house that's like a big deal in Crane. I guess some guy makes like is doing really good on YouTube with his like stuff with it. Um,
Oh well.
so I took the kids to that, and they even warned me that like, hey, this is a kind of an extreme haunted house. Like, well, the kids
Oh
want it, so
shit.
I'm just gonna do it. Like, okay. So we get in. As soon as we walk in, Annie takes two steps. We're surrounded by a guy in an Art the Clown mask. It's pitch black, and he's like,
Oh
"No,
my
no, I want."
gosh.
Annie
Oh
immediately
shit.
runs out. I'm like, Jensen, do you want to stay? He's like, yeah, yeah, but he just buries his chest in my face. And they seem to calm it down a little bit. Like the Art the Clown guy kind of like followed me a little bit, but he didn't do his whole thing. Some of the people still did, like they pop out of corners and shit. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
So I just had my flashlight on my phone. There's an annoying part because I'm holding Jensen on my chest. There's a part where there's a maze. We have to get down and crawl and then go around. So I had to have crawl
Oh,
with him.
dude.
It was an
Wow.
adventure. But yeah, we got out.
You're gonna give your
Uh
kids PTSD.
oh, Jensen was so we as soon as we got out, Annie was crying because she didn't make it through, and Jensen was just rubbing it in. Oh, I went through that haunted house. It was so cool. So, and they decided to let Annie go through again with some other kids her age, and I guess the girl who went with her, like her brother is the one, like the big guy who runs the thing. So it was the same. It was like they did
Oh,
the
okay.
same thing like an actual haunted house. They just played Baby Shark the entire time, and for some reason that made them all
Oh,
okay.
wow. That's crazy. Wow. Kind of creepy with all the aesthetics going on too, probably.
I thought the same thing. Like here, I imagine going through that would make it even worse, but apparently the kids were like, "It's
Yeah.
fine."
Yeah. That's weird. They're like, oh yeah, violence and Baby Shark. Woohoo! Oh, that's hilarious. Damn, I see you sipping whiskey. I'm kind of wishing I had a glass. I feel like,
Oh yeah,
election night, it's a whiskey sipping night.
yeah. So far, how it's going, I'm gonna need it tonight.
Yeah. I definitely
I'm
didn't
back from
anticipate
Missouri.
that. That's fun.
Yeah, had a very
Um,
busy week. Um, had the concert Wednesday night.
oh yeah,
Fucking
Cryptopsy
great. Yeah,
and Carnifex.
it was a couple bands. It was pretty much every band did great except one did okay. Heavy Hitter opened, great opener. Kind of like a beat down uh metalcore thing, kind of hardcore punk. They actually coming out with a new EP next week, so I'll probably put that on there. But
Okay, so
yeah,
that's their
or
name.
yeah, Heavy Hitter.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like kind of building them up, like a heavy hitter opened. I was like, oh,
Oh
who is
no,
it?
no, that was the name of the band. Is Heavy Hitter from Florida.
Okay,
They have a new
nice.
EP coming out next week. But yeah, I would say somewhere between like Varials and Gift Giver, kind of like the Gift Giver attitude, but more of like a Varial sound. So very
Nice.
cool. They even had a little bit of attitude, like the drummer during one of the breakdowns just stood up and spit at the first people in the crowd. Just, I
Oh
love it.
shit. How would you
Uh,
feel about that? Like if you're right there and you get that spit on you.
I think it depends on how big of a fan I
Like I would kind of semi be
am.
pissed, but if they made up for it in the tunes, I'm maybe not would have minded. But if that happened and I'm just like, I've never heard this band, I'd be like, yo, what the fuck, dude? Like I
Well, I think
like this
it's
shirt.
I think it kind of adds to the whole "fuck you" attitude they had.
True.
But yeah, organectomy, uh, start to finish, they were amazing. Um, they played that Plague Mouth song. Well, so apparently their
Mm.
bassist couldn't come. I don't know if it was like visa or family issues, but they're like the song goes to our bassist, he couldn't make it, and so they had a bass track. And since the opening is the bass part, the whole band's just dancing. It was cool. It
Oh
was
wow. Okay.
Organectomy was great. I've been listening to them a lot now, more recently, so I'm excited for the new album.
Hell
Uh, men-
yeah.
Mental
They
Cruelty was what's that?
I was just gonna comment that that track is amazing, dude. But I feel like they've slowly been releasing singles.
Yes, I think they've only
Um,
released three or two.
okay. And it's and I guess Plague Mouth is a recent single release.
Yeah, that's their most recent one.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, man. Like as opposed to what we just talked about, Defeated Sanity, man. I feel like those guys are banging them out. But this Organ Acme, I remember hearing one of their singles with that same cover. Fuck, I'd say like 2 months ago or something, 3 months
Hmm.
ago.
Yeah, kind of that white and black and a little bit of red. I love
Yeah,
that artwork. I
yeah.
did get a shirt of them, and it's the same. It's the plague mouth artwork, but it's a different colors, like black and gold. I love. There was a. They did great. I actually someone videotaped their entire thing, so I've watched it every now and then. They
That's
are
awesome.
they are great. I recommend
Hell
seeing
yeah.
them. Um,
Where are they from?
New Zealand,
Oh wow.
and this was their first time being in Springfield. He even wore a because I think it's they're another New Zealand band. He wore the ulcerate shirt because I think that's
Oh,
another
okay.
New
Yeah.
Zealand band.
Cool. That's badass. Hell yeah.
Mental Cruelty was okay. Um, I think it was just like it seemed like every band was getting better, and then Mental Cruelty came up, and it was just weird.
Huh.
Uh, the singer kept doing this annoying thing, like whenever he do the thing, he would shake his
Yeah.
head cartoonishly every time. Are you ready for something? It was very cheesy and annoying.
Wow.
He even said one thing
Huh.
is like just blatant pandering. Like he has that German accent, and he said something like, "When I left home, they asked me why are you getting on a plane to go to America? Because America's crowds are the best." I don't know what that was.
America is the best.
Yeah, that's what he did. It was
That's
weird.
so weird. Did
Yeah.
people cheer or were they just kind of like,
Oh yeah,
eh?
the crowd's like, yeah. It
Yeah.
was weird.
Huh.
But yeah,
Interesting.
Crypt Cryptopsy fucking slayed. Although I think I broke my nose during their opening song because I still
Ooh.
yeah, I felt a crunch. and
Oh
I have
shit.
some bruising up there that's already kind of healing.
What?
So I don't know,
Wow.
but yeah,
Did
they
you get
opened.
decked in the face or how did that
I
happen?
think I know. I think it was someone's back got pushed into my face or head or something. Like something happened. It was like a big.
Ow.
It wasn't like a fist or anything. Like someone got, and it was their opening song. They played "Slit Your Guts." Like, well, I gotta get in there for this. I love this song. Yeah. As
Damn.
soon as second I stepped in the mosh pit, someone came back and hit me in the nose. Like, oh fuck. But I mean, they
Oh
played a
shit.
great set. And I thought it was especially weird how he holds the mic. He holds it like imagine this mic. He holds it like down here, and you can see his entire like face, the entire like all his weird like facial movements. Uh,
Oh wow.
Great. Carnifex, I only stayed for half because the show started late. It started the open doors opened at 7, and it's 5 bands.
Oh wow. Yeah,
So
that's a long set.
yeah, so I only stayed for about half of Carnifex, but they were also very good. They just played a lot of new songs I wasn't too familiar with, but very
Hmm.
good. Great show. Yeah,
Were they
that was
pretty theatrical or
no, actually. So I was that was another thing I was wanting to bring up. They were actually surprisingly very raw. They didn't
huh?
play any of their backing tracks or samples. Like when they played Dark Days,
Oh
like there's
wow.
that piano part. Didn't you play that at all? It was
Yeah.
just them playing, which I thought was actually
Oh,
even better.
interesting. Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Did they play Hell Chose Me? Did you hear that
They
one?
they played that after I left because I looked up the set list.
Oh shit.
Pretty
Dang.
much
Did you have a
when I
long
was
drive after that or
no, it was like 45 minutes, but it was already like 11:30.
damn.
Then I had
Yeah,
work the next day.
that's crazy.
But yeah, pretty much the first half was pretty much all new songs, and then the second half was all their old stuff. Because they played like when I was there, they played Dark Days and Slit Wrist Savior, and that was the only old songs. Then a bunch of new ones.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Then I left and they
Right
played
on.
Hell Chose
Yeah, that's
Me,
hype, man.
Lied to My Face, Hatred and Slaughter.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was they were very good.
That's awesome, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Other than
Yeah,
that, for
I'm jealous of that show, man. I definitely wanted to hit that one, but I can't remember. I think I was working that night or something. I know I had something going on. Maybe discussions due or something like that.
I gotcha. Yeah, next time Cryptopsy comes, we both got to go because they're great. Like they don't like do a lot on stage, but I would say the singer, Mike Magachi or Matt Magachi, however you say it,
Yeah, Matt Magachi.
he has a very corpse grinder stage presence to where he doesn't move that much. He just kind of stands there and does the windmill thing. But just his
Hell
presence
yeah.
there is just like I couldn't take my eyes off him. He was just watching his face movements because you can see his entire thing, like
That's
all
cool.
his like lip movements, and it's a good show and it sounds great. Even when they played their old raw stuff off of Blasphemy Made Flesh, sounds great. Uh, yeah, everything about them was great. So I want to
Hell
take it to
yeah.
go see Cryptopsy. That was a good show. Um,
That's awesome, dude. That'd be sick.
Also got ready and getting ready for deer season. I already found my area.
Nice.
Been setting up some apples. Checked them today. One apple is gone. One was chewed up. Some doe estrus over there. So got a good
Cool.
spot.
Nice. Just so you know, baiting's illegal in Missouri.
Only during the shooting season. I got to move that all as soon as I
Yeah,
start
man.
shooting.
Yeah, it's but there's supposed to be like 10 days of no bait in the area, whatever. That's the technical terms, but it's, so
Yeah, I
just
just
to
got to
avoid
move
you
it
being
soon.
persecuted. But yeah. No, I've kind of what I used to do at the sawmill because they kind of let me just have full reign on that land is I would basically bait year round.
Hmm.
And so out away from the hunting season, I would bait just to bring deer still concentrated to that area and then just kind of dry it up come hunting season because,
Mm.
you still notice they still frequent that area to come check it. And
Yeah,
so Yeah, dude, apples are a good one. Fucking corn, I don't believe that corn's good for them. It's just
Hmm.
high fats. But they make like deer nuggets and shit like that. That is supposedly really good protein for their antler growth and shit like that.
Yeah, I need to do that next year. I was kind of late on asking my father-in-law the best places, like because apparently multiple people hunt, and I don't want to cross paths with them. But apparently, where I'm at, there's people who used to hunt over there are moved and found a different place. But they said that's a good place where I'm set up at. So I just wanted to
Are
test
you
the
on
waters.
public or private?
No, it's my father-in-law's land. Like
Oh,
there's still
nice.
cows like
Cool.
walking by.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, hell, if you harvest one of them, man, you're gonna have a hell of a pack out.
What do you mean?
Yeah. I just mean like if you set up before daylight and you hear
Oh yeah, I need to not rely on the sound.
no,
Like
it's
if
like
I not,
yeah.
I need to actually look.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember I hunted my brother-in-law's land whenever I first got into hunting season, and I would get there, I'd like to get set up like an hour before daylight. And so I didn't think the cattle, I knew that the cattle kind of roamed the land, but I didn't know they came into where like the deer kind of were
Hmm.
pretty prominent. And so one morning I'm sitting there and I just hear fucking like heavy hoofs like and I was like, damn, that's a fucking big deer, dude. And then like I just see this ginormous dark shadowy figure. I was like, I don't know. That's a pretty large object. And then sure enough, it gets more daylight and I got a fucking cow hanging out. I was like, oh, great. So yeah. But I've also seen hunting the sawmill, the owners had mules. And so I kind of had to hunt around mules. And what would be annoying is, I, I bow hunt, so I would also participate in that season. But like walking out to the stand, I had to learn to kind of stray from their paths because if you run into a mule, well, when they see a human, they're used to being fed. So like they would literally, the first time it happened, I just walked by them and assumed I was good, and then I just looked behind me and I got four fucking mules following me to my stand area, and I was like, God damn it, go, shoot, shoot. And once they kind of hang around you and know where you're at, they just want to hang around you all kind of all day.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to dodge them. But what was nice about having them on the land is they paved some really good trails through the timber. And
Okay.
so deer adapted to taking those trails as well. And so that
Mm,
was that was kind of cool. But yeah. Anyways.
it's coming up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it is, dude. I'm really excited. My bow hunting season has been so tough. Like I've had so many encounters this year, but I have failed on execution. I have had deer come in range and I've missed shots. I've missed well, I think I've only taken one shot and I missed. No, sorry, I've taken two shots. I did um, hit a doe and unsuccessfully recovered. So, that is a part of it that happens, but I'm hoping that maybe I grazed her and either she survived or I fed nature. So I don't know. It sucks and it really hurts when that happens, man. I put so much time into bow hunting too, so it's just very demoralizing when that shit goes on. But I found really good sign. I'm hunting public that's around home. I go down south in Shannon County, and that's where I'll be for hunting season, and I'll be hunting on private. And so um, the guy that I'm hunting on that land with, he's got some really big bucks on camera, dude. And I'm just really hoping I can get some meat in the freezer, maybe take a good buck this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pumped.
Are you wanting to stuff any for like a mount?
Maybe I haven't really got into the target bucks, you could say, but I mean, I guess if this would kind of be my first year into that, so like we have this one that he's kind of calling Whitey Bulger, but like Widey. I don't know. I've never really been a buck namer myself, but I've also never had the opportunity to see big bucks like this before. So I don't know. It's fun, but this guy is like a 10 or maybe 12 pointer, and he's just got a really wide rack, but his tines aren't super tall, but he's just got a super wide rack, man. Just really unique looking buck, really good size, probably like a 4 year old deer or something, maybe. But he's kind of been popping around that property. He's caught him on camera a couple times, and I seen a buck when I went down there for my weekend bow hunting trip. And from a distance, he was out 40 yards, and he just kind of trotted by me, and I grunt called him, and he kind of stopped and checked around, but I just could not get him to come in, and so he just kept on moving by, and when, if you get into bow hunting, you really learn that these mature bucks are they're mature for a reason because they're smart. They've gotten really good at avoiding people and picking up on what people do. And if you're like me, I've been so impatient this year, and it's been so clear that it's my fault. My opportunities have been my failures, and I've either called too many times or I've left stand too early. And so it's definitely a lesson learned. That buck in particular, I believe I called too much. I tried to call him in, and then I just kind of sat and waited like 10 minutes, called again. It's just like, that's no, no. Like he's gonna know if you're calling that much, it's probably just you're blowing it out. But the other lesson that I just learned recently was like the other last weekend, I went out here on public land, and I'm sitting there around the stand, and this is where I've missed a shot on a doe that came in perfect 20-yard shot for me, broadside and everything, and missed the shot. And I think I shot too low and kind of just skirts away, hangs in the area, but they just kind of both eventually trotted off. And so I missed that shot. So, anyways, I'm hunting this area again. And I've been hunting it so damn much. I'm just like, maybe I fucking ruined the spot. And this
Mm-hmm.
morning particular, I'm just in my head, and I'm like, I got to move my stand. And it's getting to be about 9 o'clock. And I go in like at 5 to 6, like an hour before daylight breaks, because I want to get in there early. And so I've been there for hours, and it's just me and my mental state. And, if you just get those negative thoughts, man, they just derail you. And that's exactly
Mm-hmm.
what happened. I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, ah, I don't know, nothing's happening. I got to move the stand. So fucking fuck it. 9 o'clock comes around. I get down from stand up. And I see fucking five does like 50 yards out, and they're just watching me, and then they all just spook off. I'm just like, damn it. Like, had I waited 20 minutes, dude, 20 more minutes, or, maybe longer, just a little bit longer. Had I waited, I could have probably had opportunities, not just an opportunity, but probably multiple. So it's hard when that happens, man. It's hard to keep going, hard to keep hunting, but that's how you get the deer. You got to stay on the grind, man. But bow hunting has definitely fucking been challenging this year for me.
Yeah. Hopefully you get one. Either with the final end of is bow season still in season?
Yeah. Bow season's pretty much going to go till January 15th. It obviously breaks when rifle opens because who's going to go bow hunt when you can, have a
Mm-hmm.
rifle? Uh, so it breaks for rifle season, and then it'll pick back up at the end of rifle season. But I
I
believe
gotcha.
that now is the prime time. My buddy down south on the property that I hunt, he believes the rut comes too late. He believes that Missouri rifle season comes too late for the rut. And I kind of believe that too. I think right now is when the bucks start kicking in, and they kind of start acting silly, and they're going to start chasing does a lot more. And, the rut is called the rut because that's like kind of the time when the deer really start um, just acting off. They're going to move a lot more in the daylight. They're going to be chasing deer a lot more, not as really on cue of avoiding people and picking up on their what I'm looking for. Just like their cues to stay out of danger. Like they're going to be
Yeah.
more deer focused than they are people focused in that time. So, um, yeah, man. So I now's the time to be in the stand and hunting for me, for as a bow hunter. But um, I think you're still going to get that rut action in the rifle. I just don't know that it's going to be as prominent as it could be right now. But yeah, I don't know. Still exciting. Got a kitty in your face.
Yep. She's all about me right now for some reason.
Well,
179,
so
214.
wow, she's jumped up there.
Well, they called California and Washington, which I mean, we knew
Oh,
she was
okay.
going to get.
Yeah, right.
It really just boils down to Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, because
Hmm.
Minnesota's still red, that like light red.
Yeah, they're all still those are all still light red for me.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like 13, it's only 13% reporting though in Minnesota so far. I think their polls just ended not too long ago.
I
Uh,
gotcha.
Wisconsin, Wisconsin looks like 63%, Michigan is 30%, and then Pennsylvania is 73, which is that's a big one.
Yeah, and that's
But
still close because
man,
that's
look at all,
180,000 difference in vote.
yeah. You know what's crazy is like you got Michigan and Wisconsin right here, just looking on this map. Isn't it crazy that that little portion right above Wisconsin is Michigan's?
Yeah,
It's
why
just
don't they
like
just make that part of Wisconsin?
right. Yeah. What the fuck? Like I don't get that. It's like Michigan's just like no, nope, that's mine, bitch.
This
And then
part
there's like a
like
little tiny island at the tip of Minnesota even that's still classified as Michigan. That's so weird.
yeah, I don't understand why some of these things we have as state parts of states like Missouri. I don't understand why we have the boot heel. Why don't we just give that to Arkansas?
Yeah. Or like the Oklahoma, they call that the Oklahoma. I forget. I just watched a hunting video where they called that the Oklahoma, like that line that
Mm-hmm.
borders New Mexico, Colorado, and Kansas and
Mm-hmm.
Texas. Uh, what did they call that? They didn't call that the boot heel, but it was something like sort of like that. But it's just like what is that? It's a little weird chunk of land. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
know why you just wouldn't issue that to Texas or something,
Yeah.
but that's weird.
Yeah. You ready to talk about new music? Not a lot of new stuff went on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Um, yeah, like I said, really nothing new came out except for some singles, and one album by someone who we've reviewed before in band requests. Um, for me, the biggest highlight obviously was Plague Mouth by Organectomy. I mean, it's
Hell
a
yeah, dude.
banger.
Oh man, I just jammed this tonight and I messaged you even that this track is juicy AF, and I mean that wholly. And it's just it really is, dude. It's so thick and just groovy as hell, and I felt like it just got better from start to finish.
Hmm.
Like it just, dude, it gets into like some of the grooviest breakdowns and then like ends with just a badass breakdown, dude. Like, oh, this band just they are solid as hell. And the other singles that I've released that I've heard that are, I believe, leading up to this album release that we were just talking about earlier, dude, they just sound so damn solid. Like
Hmm.
I could not be more pumped for this album.
Yeah.
I gotta look it up.
Yeah, and it even features this Devin Swank from Sanguis Sugarbog.
Oh, okay. I didn't know who that was or what band he was from, but that's cool.
Oh, I guess there was a song on this I didn't listen to. Did you check out the new song by Molotov Solution?
Oh no, I saw that that was out, but I missed that one. Shit,
We'll talk about that next week then. I'll just re-add it to next
that
week's
sucks.
playlist.
Yeah. Oh, you know what else we missed?
What's
The
that?
new Emasculator EP that we were talking about
Oh,
a while
is
back.
that did that just come out?
Yeah, the it's an album, not an EP. So that's exciting. But yes, just released October 25th. So
Ooh,
I mean
yeah.
it still pans out. But yeah, The Disfigured and the Divine. And that's a masculator with Malika Sum as the vocals, former Abnormality, one of my favorite death metal bands.
Yeah, I'll have to add that
And
on next
interesting,
week's.
yeah, for sure. She also did the artwork for this album too. Painted
Ooh,
that crazy
yeah, because
ass
that's
picture.
it's a pretty good picture.
It is. It's gnarly as hell. Yeah, man. So I'm excited to check that one out. But let's see. I was looking up I wanted to highlight that Organectomy album that's going to come out because I'm just super pumped for that one. Uh, I don't know. They don't have like the album upcoming on their Spotify countdown or anything like that. And I don't see any like title anywhere. I don't know. It's obviously going to come out though. There's that other song, Tracheal Hanging. I think
Mm-hmm.
that was one. I thought there
Yeah,
was
then
another one too.
Corpse Throne.
Yeah, that's it. Hell yeah. Brutal as hell though. I think all of those are super solid.
Yeah,
But
then
yeah, man.
other new songs we got the kind of a split EP. I don't know what you would want to call it with Brains Outward and Peeling Flesh.
Oh yeah. I did listen to that one.
It wasn't bad. I still kind of like the
Death
Just
Wish.
Peeling Flesh more, but
Hmm. Yeah, not bad. Pretty solid. I've never heard of Brains Outward.
no, neither have
But
I.
pretty brutal.
And then we got the new single, The Battered Stephen by With Blood Comes Cleansing,
Mm.
which I thought was better than the last single they released. This felt more like a low budget early 2000s deathcore, just kind of grimy. So kind of like that.
Yeah, dude, for real. It sounds just as good as the last album that I listened to this band, which was, I believe, Golgotha, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did we talk about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was that their only album they did, or was that their newest? I only kind of glanced over them when they were first around.
I think they did, or sorry, their most recent one is Horror. You remember that one? That was '08.
What did they have a song
That
called
had
Golgotha on it?
Golgotha was the album prior to that one.
Oh, okay.
So they had Golgotha in '06 and then Horror in '08.
Oh, okay.
And then they also have another new single out called The Flayed. And it's The Flayed Bartholomew.
Hmm.
And that features Kyle Medina and Body Snatcher. Or is Kyle Medina from Body Snatcher?
I think so. I don't know their names.
Okay. Yeah, I don't either. But yeah, that album Horror was the last one that I kept up with Blood Comes Cleansing. And that was really I loved that album front to back. So but yeah, man, this track sounds super solid. So I'm stoked.
Um,
Did you listen to Wishbone by Disfiguring the Goddess?
yeah, I did. It was odd.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know how
think
to
dude's
feel
just
about
doing
it.
whatever the hell he wants, man.
Yeah,
It's weird. It's
he
weird as hell.
does. It's an odd one. Um,
Yeah, I feel like this guy, he likes to mix these weird poppy songs that I don't know and I've never really listened to. I don't even know if you call it pop. Um, it's like chick singy songs though, and then he just does ridiculous gurgles on top of it and slam music. So it's just I don't know. It's interesting as hell, but weird, interesting sound. But I love that guy, so I'll always listen to his shit that comes out. Krishna's Cult. You had this on here. Is this one
yes.
of those? Is this a local band
This is one of those,
that we
I want
checked
to say
out,
they're
or
from Canada. They're one of the ones that they asked for us to check out their music a couple months ago. This is their newest EP
okay,
because previously they released another album earlier this year. This is their new EP, Redemption. Um, very different than their previous stuff. Still a little technical. Seemed instruments sounded like they were better recorded. The vocals, however, sound less in production and almost more black metal-y, which I thought was a little odd. Did you listen to
for
this one?
sure. Yeah, yeah, I did. It's a kind of odd mix, I think, vocally with the music. but makes for a unique sound, I
Yeah,
feel. Um,
yeah,
and like even their spelling, like tumor, it makes me think of like tumor. I don't know what these words mean, but I don't know. It's pretty fun. And the EP is titled Redemption, but it has like the asterisk on top of the first E, so it's like Redemption, or I don't know.
yeah. I wonder if they're from like Montreal, like Quebec. So I wonder if it's like maybe
Mm,
French words since it's English and French over there.
yeah, maybe. These guys have like one of those really unique sounds, though. I feel like this is a Sean band. So Sean, if you're listening, I think you might like this album. Krishna's Cult Redemption. It's a EP that they
Yeah,
just
check
came
them
out
out.
with. Yeah, pretty cool listen.
I did add some more bands to the Death Metal Daddy's band requests playlist we have. But these are based off of bands that I've been keeping an eye on our followers on Facebook. And some of these have been local bands or some bands just for some reason found us. So I checked out
Mm.
some of their music and put them on there through Facebook creeping. And so I did check out
Nice.
today. I checked out Hidden in Venice, their EP. Uh, I listened to them. It wasn't too bad. Kind of like a I wouldn't say beat down, but I would say more like the a beat down flavor of metalcore. It's not too bad. It's kind of a more the attitude-ishness is kind of nice. That's their EP. I don't know if it's newer. I just put it on here. Like, Hidden in Hidden in Venice with the EP Beginnings. I remember listening to
Okay.
Violence is the Answer. One Happy Family is the intro. I remember that being pretty cool. Well, not the intro, the opening track. It's a full song, but that wasn't too bad. Check out
Nice.
Hidden in Venice. And Hidden in Venice, thank you for following us.
Hell yeah. Shout out.
Yeah. That's all I got for music. Anything else you want to talk about with new music or band requests?
I took a trip back to last week's playlist, based on your recommendation and checked out Better Lovers. Listened to that album today and I liked it, man. Highly
Oh
Irresponsible.
yeah.
Pretty cool.
Oh
Badass
yeah.
album. Um Awesome album cover art, by the
Yeah.
way. It looks like a 1980s like kind of cartoon poster, and a kid's like holding a firework to his face, and then it's just like blasting his head off. So it's gnarly as hell. But very cool album, man. I love the Greg Puciato coming back, and he's kind of like doing some new shit too, kind of going crazy with the sing screams. Um, in spots, and the riffage is solid. And you're absolutely right that it shows that Will Putney signature sound. I think in the
Hmm.
first track, he kind of comes out with that signature sound, dude, and it just starts off banging. So that
Oh
was
yeah.
super fun, man. Yeah, I think it's a great album, man. I really
Hmm.
liked it. One of my favorite tracks was well, a couple of them. I really liked A White Horse Covered in Blood, uh, Future Myopia, and Drowning in a Burning World. I thought was really good too. So
Oh yeah.
um, those were some highlights for me, man.
Yeah. Great album. Those are great songs. I think those are ones I also highlight. It's a great album. I recommend it for everyone. Also another thing with the like you're saying with the artwork, because they originally came out with merch, I think before they released the artwork, and one of them was a it's all kind of like themed, I think, a little bit, but one stuck out was they had it's the Black Cat firework logo instead of Black Cat's Better Lovers. I've been wanting to get that shirt, but
Nice. Oh yeah. Yeah, man, I see you donning the Cryptopsy tonight. It really makes me want to pick up some new band merch, dude. Did you
oh
get that
yeah.
at the show?
Yeah, I was torn because I really want the None So Vile shirt. However, it's one of those shirts like I don't know where I can wear this because if I wear it at home, it's going to scare the kids, and if I wear it in public, it's because it's pretty. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's the I forget the girl's name, but it's from the Bible. This girl holding a silver platter with John the Baptist's decapitated head on it, and
Oh
so
yeah.
it's a great
Yeah,
album
pretty
cover.
gnarly.
I wanted that
Yeah,
one,
it is
but
gnarly.
I did think they had something weird though. I've never seen a band do this. Uh, they had a shirt with a picture of their old lead singer, and on the side it said "Bring back Lord Worm,"
Huh. Interesting.
which I
I
thought
mean,
like,
I think I've done some reading, and it seems that that guy is. I feel like they're still on good graces with that vocalist and everything. I really don't think there's any bad blood necessarily in the world of Cryptopsy and their former vocalists. I mean, I'm not 100% on that. That's just kind of my assumption based off of what I've read online. But I know that he was a fan favorite. Um,
yeah.
you know,
I just find it weird though if you have a different singer, to have a come up with a shirt that says "bring back the other guy" kind of thing. I feel like that's a little weird.
that is that is weird. Yeah, definitely kind of strange. But I want to say that I found a live video where he comes out and performs a song with them. I might be
Okay.
wrong on that, but I'm not sure. But I know Sean in particular, he was a big fan of Lord Worm too,
Oh yeah,
I think.
I love his era. The Blasphemies Made Flesh, None So Vile. Those albums are great. Although I do like Matt Magachi because he sounds just like the album. Uh, Obviously their newer stuff doesn't sound as much like it, but when I saw him live, he sounds just like what was on None So Vile and stuff. So I mean, I don't mind it. However, I do miss Lord Worm's recordings on the albums.
That's
Yeah,
awesome, dude.
yeah.
Did they play that one track, I forget the title, but it's like boom.
Which is it an older song or a newer song?
No, it's a new song. That's just how the vocalist starts out. Like the lyric is literally boom.
Uh, I know from the newer album.
Hang on, let me look. I'll look it up. It's like I've buried silenced. Now it's not behind.
I know they played a certain song when listening back to on the record, and he did it live too. There's just ooh, ah, part, and it was. I want to say that was Open Face Surgery though.
So this was on As Gomorrah Burns. Uh, let's see. Lavicious?
Oh, Lavicious Undone or
No.
something like that. Because they played that Godless Deceiver and
Oh, in
Flayed.
abeyance.
No, they didn't play that one. They
Oh,
played
damn, dude. I love that song.
they played from that album. They played the opening track, "Godless Deceiver," and "Flayed the Swine." I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
they
right.
only played 8 songs. It went by quick.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah,
That's cool. So was he like interactive with the crowd like in between songs? Did he have like things he would say, or were they just kind of like a song to song to song band?
he would do a little bit of interaction every now and then. He brought up that he himself had never been to Springfield. He doesn't know about the band. He doesn't know about beforehand. Some about that in one of the between songs. It was also the 30th anniversary of Blasphemy Made Flesh, and he wanted us all to give a shout out to the drummer, who's the only original member who was on that album. That's about all I
Wow.
remember when it comes to his interactions.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like they were kind of like
Sweet.
a normal amount of interactions. Carnifex was very much a lot of interactions.
Oh, really?
They literally said the name of every song before they played it.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Like even as soon as they walked.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, even as soon as they walked out, I was like, "What's up, Springfield? This song is called Torn in Two." It's like, huh, okay.
All right. Nice. So like I guess based off that, we can get into like a new topic. Do you like that kind of interaction from a band? Do you like that kind of a set, or do you prefer a artist set that is more mystique like live, it's like such as like bands like Watain? where he is like not interacting with the crowd in between the songs. There's more ambient background music playing, and it's just almost like this kind of theatrical show that you're just attending. I know we can get really bands are very diverse. They're like I'd say that more metal bands probably interact than not, but
Hmm.
I almost, I'm always a fan of the mystique of bands, and so for that reason, like I feel like the mystique bands are almost more special. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's all dependent on the band. Like I would say, like for Watain, their interaction was perfect. Because I don't remember him talking to the crowd at all, but it was all like the in between songs, like you said, the ambience and all that stuff. But then it comes to bands like I love when Every Time I Died did the interactions. I loved Carnifex's interactions. But if I think of other bands, I would almost prefer almost no interaction, just keep this train rolling kind of thing. Like if I were to see Nails, I would almost prefer no crowd interaction. Just keep this train going kind of
Balls to the
thing.
wall. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, it's all dependent on the band. Um, I don't remember if Lorna Shore when we first saw them if they had any interactions, but that's one of the
Huh.
bands I think would have needed it at that time because I they had a very
Oh, with CJ?
yeah they had a very an arrogance at that time, or almost
Yeah,
like
they
they didn't
did.
want to be there. So them
Yeah,
not interacting kind of attributed to that and made it worse. So like I said, it's all
true.
dependent on the band and kind of the attitude they bring. What about
Right.
you?
And you know, I don't know. It is dependent on the band, but like I remember that night, that was the Riot Room show that you're talking about with Lorna Shore with CJ. And that night was Lorna Shore with CJ, uh, Last 10 Seconds of Life, Fit for an Autopsy, and fuck, I can't remember the other one. I feel like I always forget. Oh, Abnormality, or no, not Abnormality.
I think
Uh,
they opened that
no,
one.
but no, Abnormality opened.
Oh, that was Black Dahlia Murder.
Abnor, right? Yeah, with fucking. Oh my gosh, Misery Index. Sorry,
Yeah.
and Cataclysm, right? Or no, Cataclysm was with D-side. Jeez. Man, terrible. Sorry, we attended a lot of shows at the Right Room. But anyways, the night that I'm talking about was Fit for an Autopsy, Lorne Shore, and oh my
Oh,
gosh,
and
Last 10
Discarnate.
Seconds of Life. Yes, Discarnate. Discarnate was probably the only band of the night that had interaction. And I think they
Hmm.
announced song titles. But I remember like the last 10 seconds of life, um, they had no interaction. They just went song to song to song to song, I think, you know.
Hmm.
And he like literally the band was getting ready on stage, and I thought it kind of added to the badassery of that band. Like he just walks through the crowd, literally taps me on the shoulder, excuse me, and then I realized who it is. I was like, oh fuck, that's the vocalist. And then he just like walks up to the stage, and then he might have done like a "What the fuck is up, Kansas City?" And then they just like kicked into it, but I think it was very minimal. I
Hmm.
don't think they announced song tracks or anything like that. And it was just kind of like a pump you up. It's like, oh fuck yeah, let's go. It wasn't like time to soak it in or anything like that. It was just like boom, it's happening.
Hmm.
And so like that was really cool. Even Fit for an Autopsy, I don't really remember a lot of in between interaction.
No.
I and like you said, Lorna Shore, there was really none of that either. Like, and I kind of hated Lorna Shore's because you had that like symphonic backing track that would come in. But again, I've riffed on this on the podcast before, but like I kind of hate that. Like, it's just someone pushing a button and you're just
Hmm.
listening to a track on a speaker. And so everyone's just standing there, just kind of like not doing anything. And you got like a guitarist tuning his guitar and they're just all kind of waiting, waiting for the song to kick in. And then they and like start playing. And it's just like, I don't know, man. It was very unentertaining to me there.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. It is very band dependent. Like bands like Watain, it's going to, even though he's not saying anything in between the songs, the duration from song to song was very long. Like you have this ambient break. Um, and although the guitarists are probably tuning their guitars, you have an ambient that fits the setting. And so you like have like the darkened red lights, you have like the smoke, and like literally Eric from Wataine's like walking around all slow and like ghost like in this fog that they had on the stage, and he's like lighting candles and like doing this weird ceremonial shit in between.
Hmm.
That was it was just like you're in a different world during their sets, you know. That's what it really made me feel like. And so that was still very drawing to me, very cool. Um, but yeah, man, I don't know. It's just it's always interesting to me what route a band is going to take, especially if I haven't seen them before. And you know, I kind of would have pictured Carnifex taking a more theatrical route, almost closer to band like Watain with all
Hmm.
the like they don't have a lot of symphonic stuff, but they have some, you know. And so I kind of would have pictured that because I remember looking, I think I watched some videos of their set years ago and they had like fucking, it looked like castle kind of ruined shit on stage with like torches lit and stuff. It almost looked like a Halloween setup, like setting, you know, it was pretty cool. But, you know, I was
Yeah.
like, it's Carnifex. They're kind of doing like the graveyard thing, you know. I feel like they have a very graveyard theme. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And
Interesting though.
like you were saying with Watain, I would almost say if Watain would have done like the typical crowd interactions, that would have killed the vibe so much. Like if he would have came out and just after
Yeah.
a couple songs and been like, "What's up, Lawrence? This is the best show we've had on this tour. We've been through this city, this city." Is like, oh my god. So we're because I
Right.
think how he handled it makes you feel special in the moment, even though he probably has done it several times. Just how they did that setup, it made it feel special and intimate, even though he's not talking to you at all. It makes it feel like it's a special moment, especially as soon as we had the get thrown at us and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
everything about it
No
felt
shit.
special just because of how they set it up. And then you have the opposite where you have Lorna Shore, like they don't do any crowd interaction, but it made the performance feel worse because I remember watching them super excited for Lorna Shore the entire time, and they performed, and after they were done, it's like I didn't know which songs they played and which songs they didn't play. I knew they opened with Darkened Spawn because they had that sample. Other than that, it's like it was a mess. It was a lot of not just noise at that point.
It looked, yeah, it looked very sluggish. Like, you know, not only were they donning fucking sweatpants and gym shorts, but like they just looked like they didn't want to be there, you know? So it was very just kind of like, bleh. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, just get the fuck off the stage if you don't want to do this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sort of,
Yeah.
sort of vibe for me, anyways. But I don't know, you know, and it's like, you know, Fit for an Autopsy follows that, and or maybe it was last 10 seconds of life after Lawrence Shore. I can't remember the lineup route, but I know last 10 seconds of life rocked that room. Every fucking body in that room was moving to that song. The Box. Is that the
Mm-hmm.
famous one? Or
Yeah, there's the
yeah.
box and then
And
also the snuff film one.
yeah.
Pain is pleasure.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that one. Yeah. And everyone like they may have not known all of the last 10 seconds of life songs, but like I feel like every lyric was sang from the crowd to that song.
Mm-hmm.
It was so badass, man. It was so badass. People just jumping at the stage just to chant it to him. And you know, like that band has just got to feel so damn cool. Like getting that crowd to like chant that lyric back to you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I bet it was awesome for him. Um, and I really like that vocalist tone. You know, he's not in the band anymore, but he did really have a great tone. The new vocalist does too, but I haven't seen him live, so um but yeah, very little interaction in between songs there. But and then even Fit for an Autopsy, you know, they ended the show, no interaction in between the songs, but they have more, I think, identifiable tracks,
Mm-hmm.
easier to identify, and signature tracks. And so, like, whenever they kind of started, like, you knew it was coming. He may have like announced a couple, but I don't know, maybe he didn't. Like, do you remember him announcing any or?
I I don't really know. I think he might have. If he did, I feel like he announced Black Mammoth maybe. But other than that, I don't remember it. But like you said, their the difference between Fit for an Autopsy and Lauren Shore is Lauren Shore isn't really known for their riffs, especially at that time, to where Fit
Hmm.
for an Autopsy, as soon as that riff started, everyone knew what song it was.
Yeah.
Like when it was, I think it was Sea of Tragic Beasts is what they opened with. It's like as soon as that hit, it's like, oh yeah, that's this song. And they had more memorable songs, more memorable riffs, like, oh, it's that riff, it's this song. Like as soon as
Yeah.
I'm not super familiar
Hydra.
with it. Yeah, that one too. But I'm not super familiar with the song, but I knew as soon as I heard the riffs, like, oh, it's that one song. And that's just Absolute Hope, Absolute Hell. I think
Yeah.
that's what it's called.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's an awesome classic from that band. But yeah, man, it's an interesting dynamic, and I know you can even there's like another route that some artists will take. I'd say fewer take this route, but there's like the jokester, like Ollie from Archspire, or the whole band really. Like now they
Hmm.
have the crowd playing Twister. Like they have the crowd play a whole game of Twister, or a couple dudes in the crowd play a game of Twister, and I don't know. I remember watching a video of the earlier days though, back when they dropped the Lucid Collective, and I was like, I gotta look this band up just to see what they're like live. And because that was the fastest shit that I had ever heard, still is to this day. But um, I remember I heard Ollie crack a joke about fucking his dead grandmother, and then boom, they just go right into a song. I was just like, wow, okay. And so it's just like wow, I definitely did not see that coming from a band like Archspire, like where, listening to them before seeing that video, uh, I took the music very serious, and then after I seen the video, he kind of dons like a hockey jersey or some shit like that, super loose, almost like a looks like a rapper on stage. And, he obviously likes the chopping techniques of rappers, so makes sense or whatever. But it was totally uh uh sideswiped to me. I definitely did not see that coming, but still fun as hell, and I think he nails like the jokester on stage live like really good. Like I still need to see that band live, but I believe that he does it probably pretty well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, another band I've been wanting to see that does something similar, Party Cannon. Have you ever listened to Party Cannon? They're like a
yeah,
slam
I've
band.
listened to them, but yeah, I think we had a track or two on our playlist maybe at one point. Can't remember for sure or not, but I know I have listened to him before.
Yeah, they do like you were saying with the Twister, uh a common thing Party Cannon does is instead of mosh pits, they make people do push-up hits.
Oh
Like
wow.
they'll clear it up and make people just lay on the floor and do push-ups during their songs to the beat.
Oh
To
my
the
God.
slam.
That would suck. That's hilarious. Yeah, it's always interesting though, but and I wonder if that is practiced by the vocalist or band together, or if it's just kind of on a whim, what they're going to do.
Yeah,
Obviously, with bands like Watain, I'd say that's probably rehearsed more than it is not. So I don't know.
yeah. Like you probably remember, I do prefer the spur of the moments one because you probably remember when we saw Origin in Colombia. They had us sing "Happy Birthday" to the
Yeah.
bassist.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I remember that. Yeah,
Stuff
that's
like
pretty
that.
sweet.
I liked. It makes you feel like you're kind of in a moment with them, kind of thing. I like stuff like that.
Yeah, special moment. Yeah.
I also like it, especially.
I will say,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna note, I like they were cool live. Like they are a very technical band for sure, like one of the most. But I hated the fact that they left the lights on during their set. Like I felt like there was way too many lights on for that. Like I like kind of the darkened room with just a few like kind of either colored lights or minimal lighting. Like you
Mhm.
know the least amount of lighting necessary, the better, I think. But
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's just kind of part of who they are. I think they, especially ever since they came out with that, they have a ghost shirt that they're not no gimmicks, no frills or anything like that. Just purely just like, hey, here's our stuff kind of thing. So I think maybe that's a part of it because also they don't really try to do any like theatrical stuff. It's literally just them going up and playing kind of thing. So maybe that's part of why they do that. I don't know. That's the only thing I can
Hmm.
think of.
Yeah, right. But yeah,
But
anyways.
another thing I really like, because Carnifex did the other night, is when they explain meaning of a song a little bit right before they play it,
Oh
especially if
yeah.
it's something you don't
Yeah.
know. Like I found out, I didn't know this. Apparently, Carnifex has a song on their newer album called "Crowned in Everblack," which I guess is dedicated to
Uh, Trevor Snred.
Trevor. Yeah, from Black Dahlia
Okay.
Murder. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I've listened to it a couple times in preparation for the concert, but I don't know. I thought that was cool, and he also referenced
that
like
is cool.
because it was the day before Halloween. He's like Halloween was his favorite holiday. I'm sure you could probably all could have guessed that, but we miss you. And then they played the song, and then after knowing all that, and you listen to the lyrics, like, oh yeah, it does fit. It makes sense. I like songs
That's
like that.
cool. That is pretty tight. Yeah.
Um, anything else we want to add to this?
I don't think so.
Uh, are you ready for some periphery?
Sure, man. Let's do it.
Hell yeah. Update 205 to 230.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
that's
haven't
just
checked
the
in a minute.
that's the West Coast. Minnesota has turned back to blue. Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania are still showing red though.
Hmm. Interesting.
They have
Yeah.
not called Georgia or Arizona yet. One of these
Yeah,
days we
and see,
need.
Georgia was leading last that I checked.
Yeah, it's still showing
Or
red.
yeah, 91% reporting, so that's probably gonna go red.
How close is the margin?
It is 51 to 48.3.
Okay, so yeah, probably not. Probably going to be Trump.
And
Amendment
then
3 passed.
81% is reporting. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So
Interesting.
did 7. Those are officially
Oh,
announced as
okay.
passed. Uh, Amendment 2 is still leading towards yes, but not fully called yet. Same with
Is that the
Amendment
sports
5.
betting?
Yeah. 5 and 6 is leaning towards no, but not called yet. Prop A is leaning towards
Hmm.
yes, but not called yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's do some periphery.
Let's do it. Let's come for a while to see. It's probably terrible.
Here we
Man, I really love this band.
go.
It's crazy to me that
Presentation mode.
Marigold is their top played song on Spotify.
I'm not too into that album. I don't know about you, but I'm just not.
Yeah, it wasn't a big one for me.
All right. Do you want to start this off?
Sure, man. We got Periphery coming out in 2010 with the Bangin' Gent album. Man, they got a lot of albums for as short as they've been around, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, also they kind of cranked out the double albums. Well,
True.
just the two double album, well, one double album with two albums. Actually, yeah.
Um, so yeah, Periphery 2010. And I guess this is self-titled.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of banging ass gent songs on this one, like The Walk and Letter Experiment, some of my two favorites in their whole discography. Like just groovy as hell, dude. Oh, I'm jamming Letter Experiment right now. They're just like, oh man, it's just such a badass jam. But yeah, also got Jetpacks was yes. Butter Snips, um, Race Car, which I think was a bigger one. Icarus Lives, I think, is a big one.
Hmm.
So some really good songs, man, on their very first album. Yeah, for me, I think I'm probably going to give that one a 7.5.
All right. I'm probably gonna be the exact same, a 7.5. I do like this album. That's holds some fond memories. It's one of those ones that it almost feels like a mixtape, even though it
Yeah.
because this is this is their debut, so it's a lot of collections of like old songs, but it's still it has like you said, it has some great grooves, great riffs. Um, Icarus Lives, I remember, was the one that caught my attention. Then Jetpacks was yes. Insomnia. I didn't really. I guess I had never listened to Race Car before until I was getting ready for this. That's also a very good song, very long, but still very good. Um,
Hmm.
I gotta pull this up. I want to say it's Letter
Now,
Experiment.
was this with Spencer Sotelo?
Yes, and I feel like that was also led to some controversy because I remember some people were complaining that the old singer was better or something, but I don't know. I didn't think Spencer did too bad of a job on it.
I think he was a key part of Periphery and always has been. But yeah, I know that there's a group that is fond of the older vocalists, so I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, Letter Experiment that burn.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, it's such a groove.
Yeah, it's it was a solid album for a debut for a band that, especially at the time, that they got a lot of attention because was like when gent was kind of like actually getting attention and becoming a genre because you had Periphery, Tesseract. Um, oh, there was one more. Who was the other one? Maybe the
Monuments.
Contortionists,
I think Monuments was a
Monuments.
big one.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, Free Tesseract, Monuments. Yeah, Contortionist was kind of around there too, though. Um, yeah.
yeah. This
There
was
was definitely like a gent collective that kind of came out around the same time.
yeah, kind of paved the way for or kind of like sparked this whole like gent wave that kind of came after it, and this was my introduction to it, and I did really like this album. But yeah, this is gonna be so this will be a 15.
Oh yeah,
All right, yeah. Up next, a very big album, I think, for both of us in a way. Um,
definitely, dude. Icarus in 2011.
oh, you're talking about the EP?
Or yeah, are we doing that one or no?
I don't think so, because
Oh
isn't that one literally just I want to say that's just remixed
yeah,
songs, isn't it?
yeah, I think so. I mean, there's some other ones on here like one of my other favorites is New Groove. It's literally just an instrumental though, but it's like one of the best gent and instrumentals. Like if you're just looking for like a sick, literally badass groove, it's the song New Groove from
Okay.
on this
Actually,
EP. But
I don't think I've ever listened to this one. If you want to go ahead and talk
oh,
about this,
dude.
you can.
Yeah, well, that's my biggest highlight on this. It's just absolutely fantastic. But yeah, so you got like Icarus Lives and there's like some remixes. There's like three other different remixes on here. And then Jetpacks was yes V2. And I don't know if that's different than the other one. I mean, obviously I would assume so. And then Frack the Gods, which I think was a big one too. But yeah. So
Yeah, I
um
think the only difference between V1 and V2 for Jetpacks was yes is that bridge. Um,
mm,
he screams in the original, which is on the first album. I want to say on the second one is purely cleans. But
okay.
what if this illusion? That part.
Okay. But yeah, man, that's a solid one. And then yeah, up next, the freaking gold of the gold, in my opinion, Periphery 2, man, drops in 2012.
This time it's
Holy
personal.
shitballs. Yeah. Let me let my cat out real quick. Sorry, this cat is personal. Yeah. Um, so I don't know why they did, was that just the tour name or was that like
I
the tag
I
they dropped with this album?
I want to say it's a tag, and I want to say it's a reference to Jaws 2, if I remember right.
Huh, interesting.
Because I
But
think
yeah,
if I remember right, they were going to name it either Periphery 2, This Time is Personal, or Periphery 2, Electric Boogaloo.
oh, they so should have called it Electric Boogaloo. Damn, that would have been badass. That's hilarious. Um, but yeah, I love this album, dude. I fell in love with it. It's the best hour and 9 minutes of gent that I've ever heard in my life. And front to absolutely back. Like there's not a song on this album that I will skip because I just feel like it just makes complete sense as a whole. It's a great collective of what, 10 tracks, 10, 11. Shit, it might be more than that. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 tracks. So, I mean, you heard I mean, I guess I could have read the bottom of the Spotify album thing. It says 14 songs, but anyways, I feel like that's rarity, man. I feel like it's so rare to get an album with 14 songs and not have one that you don't like. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Or have one that you don't like. So, um, yeah, dude, it's just so good. It's so good to me, and I was so captivated whenever I listened to this album. Thankfully to you, this is totally on your recommendation. I wasn't really into him at first, but this was one that just I listened to, and then it just kept kind of. I would have these choruses repeat in my head, these riffs repeat in my head, and I was like, okay, I'm coming back to this, and I fell in love with it, man. Front to back, flawless record. It's a 10 for me on this one. This one is prime periphery.
All right, I got you. I also love this album. It's one of those things I tried to figure out. I was like, all right, is it just because I saw them, or is it really that good? But literally, whenever I go back to listen to Periphery, it's this album I would go back to, and I always listen to most of the album because I love they do something that I remember learning in English class in high school, which is the framing device, which is where you have something beginning, middle, and end, and that's the only time it appears. And that is supposed to be like the message of the entire thing. And he does that with the line, uh, what's the line? I think you know which one I'm talking about. Now in the
So
distance we can see shining clear our demise to be. We're not
we're not
listening
listening to
to
ourselves.
ourselves. Yeah,
Yeah,
and Muramasa, Ragnarok and Masamune. I love that,
yeah,
especially especially in Ragnarok. I love the build up of how they build up to that so much. And Masamune,
absolutely,
it's the same thing, but it delivers it in a darker tone. I love it. Lots of other great
absolutely, dude.
lots of other great tracks. Another highlight for me is Make Total Destroy. I love the
Mm,
lyrics of it, like
I
kind of
love
like
the video.
oh yeah. But
The
even
video
like
got me super pumped, dude, for like that album. Like,
oh
and
yeah.
I love that it's aside from all of their songs. Well, they don't like show it on Spotify, but like on the video for on YouTube, it's like all caps. And so
Hmm.
like I don't know, I love that. Make total destroy. It's great. But yeah,
Well, also I love
not
like
to interrupt.
the almost political like I've talked about earlier, being political without taking a political side, like complaining about the how the media will use fear as a weapon. It's time for us to see the man behind the curtain and cast him into disease, kind of thing. I love that angle from
Hmm.
it. And then also, like
Yeah,
you said, there's just like certain parts, like the song, they might not be some of your favorite songs, but there's songs that just have the catchiest parts. I want to say it's Have a Blast. Remember we were singing it in the car just out of fun on the way to the concert. Uh, I don't, it's a great album. I'm going to give this a 9.5. It's close, but I'm not going to
Hell
give it
yeah.
just a 10 yet because going through it,
Okay.
there was another one. I was like, okay, I have to wait. 19.5. There we go. Yeah,
Um,
it's an amazing album.
yeah, dude. That Have a Blast that you mentioned, I loved that. When we went to see him, like it was just it was like aligning of the stars. Not only did I fall in love with this album at the right time, but then we followed up with seeing them like I think months after on an epic lineup set with a local band, 12 Foot Ninja, Born of Osiris, and then or Dead Letter Circus, Born of Osiris, and then Periphery, in that order. And it was just one of my favorite shows to date that I've ever attended with you for sure, or at all, ever in my whole life. One of the top metal shows. And they played this album nearly front to back. There was only like a
Mm-hmm.
couple that they didn't play, but even Have a Blast, I love that you still hear like the weird violin intro, and I was just like, I was so surprised that that was going to be included, but it was, and it came out great. And then you hear like the little keys come into behind it. It's a ridiculous start to a song, but I think very intentionally done. Uh, because they're a ridiculous band. They got ridiculous titles on here. Have a Blast, Face Palm Mute, The Gods Must Be Crazy. I don't know, Frog and Bullfish. I don't know. They like to have fun with it, I think, and so I think that's a perfect example of that. But yeah, dude, it's just it's an album of gold for me for those reasons. But
Oh yeah, it's a great album, and like I said, it's when I listen to Periphery, this is usually the album I will go back to, and it's not like I'll listen to a song. It's I will listen to most of this album. It's an amazing album.
no doubt, dude, no doubt. Following that up, we had the EP Clear, which I know that's not on this list, but I wanted to talk about that one again because I really like that. Like it's more poppy Periphery.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't remember you being a big fan of it, but I actually liked the songs on it. Like I think a couple of them anyways. Feed the Ground was really good, and Parade of Ashes. I know Parade
Mm-hmm.
of Ashes kind of like has like that poppy chorus, but it was so catchy to me. Like it just another Periphery song that I just found kind of singing in my head. So um I really enjoyed that one, man. But yeah.
Yeah, I do. I was wondering if we were going to talk about this one, and I'm glad we are. Because you actually named the two songs that I do love from this. Yeah, I really it's a great idea for this band because from what I remember, each song was a different member was the director of that song. Like it was their song idea, so they would like, hey, I want you to do this, this, and this. So um, it was a great idea for an album for an EP. It's a fun idea, but Feed the Ground and Parade of Ashes, I think, are the shining parts of this EP. Feed the Ground has I want to say that's Misha Mansour's album song, groovy as
Okay.
hell, heavy. And then Parade of Ashes was Spencer the Singer's, which is kind of shines through with, like you said, the poppiness, and his vocals are very much the song, but it's still groovy. It's
Yeah.
catchy as shit. It's so good. Yeah. But like I said, it's
Yeah, no doubt.
I wasn't super crazy about it because like it is for me, it's a 7 song EP and there's 2 songs I like. I like a little bit more meat, but it's a great idea for this type of band, and it was fun to see them almost kind of just have fun with it.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. Following that up, in between there, we kind of had some like, I wouldn't say controversy, but almost like there was a lot of speculation because they had this album Juggernaut that was supposed to be released, I think, before that EP, and so like we
Mm-hmm.
knew that we were going to get a Periphery EP, or we knew we were going to get a Periphery release, but we were expecting it to be that Juggernaut album, and it wasn't. So there was some letdown on that EP Clear because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But they returned in 2015 and they decided to drop it. So, and it's the two for a double album, Juggernaut Omega and Juggernaut Alpha. Um, I'll let you take the reins on this one because I've been
I
kind
gotcha.
of stomping all over.
So on this tier list, they have as separate albums, which I would kind of prefer because I feel one way about one album and a different way about the other. For me, I love Alpha, and going back through this as a refresher, I forget how good Alpha is. And it's kind of what I love about these two albums is the dichotomy. It's the good and evil about it, even though there's still some like violent and shit like that when it comes to Alpha. But I feel like that's kind of like just kind of who Periphery is. Metal, you can't have a little bit of like nasty gnarliness with that and it not
Yeah.
be a good album. But I feel I love this album. From front to back, it's great. It has Black Minute, MK Ultra. Starts off with the heaviness, but kind of goes into a weird kind of jazzy thing. Heavy Heart's more of a radio single. Uh, the Scourge will get you. It'll creep up on you, especially that ending intro. Alpha was like the another radio hit. I'm less into it. It is more catchy, but I feel like I don't think that should have been the what am I thinking of? The big single from it. For me, the catchiest song though is 22 Faces. It keeps that heaviness while still being catchy as shit. And then Rainbow Gravity come back with the heaviness. I love
Yeah.
this. I love this album. For me, this will be my 10.
Damn. Okay. I did not expect that, man. I really did. I think it's great. I do really thoroughly enjoy this album too. Um, but I'm a little indifferent. Like they definitely Alpha and Omega have their differences, but they also just kind of coincide for me, man. Um, I just think they do belong together. So, uh, great songs from this one. You pretty much highlighted them. Black Minute, MK Ultra, Scourge, 22 Faces. Those are my highlights. But it's just not quite up there for me. I think I'd probably give this one I'd probably give it like an 8.5 though. It's still really
Okay.
solid. But yeah.
All right. Respectable. All right. And then we have, like we talked about earlier, was the other half of this double album, which was Juggernaut Omega. And like you kind of brought up, this was something we were waiting for this album for a while because they announced it pretty much right after two. It's like, oh, they're gonna come out with another album, Juggernaut. And it took forever. I remember this is back in my streaming days where I would illegally download albums. And sometimes you get a leak. So every day I would go on there and see, did Juggernaut leak? Did Juggernaut leak? But eventually this came out and I was more excited about Omega because I thought, all right, Omega is going to be the darker one. I'm going to like this more. So I want to say I went and bought both, but I put on Omega first, which was a mistake. Like, it is a darker album. However, I'm not too into it. So it starts off with Reprise, which is literally the same as a Black Minute, but a lot shorter. And the lyrics are kind of reversed to where it is more evil and dark. The Bad Thing, great song. I would put it kind of in the realm of like 22 Faces, to where it is like that bangy jam, still catchy, but just get you with the right grooves. But other than
Yeah,
that,
dude.
I'm not too into this one. I'm gonna give this one a 7 point. I'll just give this a 7.
Okay. I really like this one, man. I think I probably agree with you though. I don't know that I like it as much as Alpha, but The Bad Thing almost props this album up just so much because it's such an immense classic Periphery song for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like after hearing this song, it really, really made me want to see Periphery again. And I was like, damn it, I almost wish that we would have caught him on this album run. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm indifferent because I think the set we saw was phenomenal. But anyways, I don't know. I don't think that there's as powerful songs on this one. I think they're still good, and but like my favorites are probably The Bad Thing and Stranger Things.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, for me, it's probably going to be a 7.5 on this one. No, no, I'll do an 8. I'll do an 8.
Okay. So we got that's also at a 15. All right. All right. Up next we got
Okay.
Periphery 3. Do you want to take the lead on this or do you want me to?
Go for it, man.
Um So my issue with this album is listening to this one. Like the thing I love about Periphery, they've been doing it all the way up to this. Is there would be like themes. It's a prog band. Like what we can say gent all we want, but gent is essentially almost a subgenre of prog. So there needs to be like connective tissue, in my opinion. There needs to be a theme or a story, something to hold all these songs together. So for a band like this to come out with what feels like just a bunch of singles, it it's not what I'm looking for. There are some good songs on this. I'm not saying it's like completely terrible. It's just like going into it, I could already tell like, okay, this is not the Periphery I loved. This is Periphery 3 Select Difficulty came out in 2016. I want to say this came out the year after their double album. So was already kind of like a little hesitant. Some songs aren't too bad. I kind of like Motor Mouth, even though again it's kind of like the chorus is eat shit Motor Mouth, which is already kind of like okay. I thought this is a little bit more of a serious band. Like, yeah, you have weird names, but at least your songs are somewhat serious. Habitual Line Stepper. Um, I don't know. For this one, this kind of turned me off for a little bit. I'm gonna give this one a 6.7.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think I'm gonna kind of side with you on this one. I don't know that I loved it by any means. It just kind of fell short, especially after, we got that double album and it was really a lot more powerful in my opinion. But I think there's still some good ones. Motormouth is a good track. I think Marigold gets like a pretty catchy sound in there for me. Remain Indoors, I want to say, was another one, and uh, maybe Prayer Position. But yeah, it's just it's not a memorable one in their discography for me. So for those reasons, I think I'd probably give this one a 7.8. Actually, I'm gonna give it a 7. I'm sorry. Just because it's like I'm going to do that because I feel like I remember the grooves in that Icarus album more so than I do this one, and I rank the Icarus one higher. So it's I don't know. And up next, Periphery 4, Hail Stan. Are you on? Can you hear me? Am I muted? No, I can't hear you. Your light's off.
Can you hear me now?
Now it's on. Yeah,
Can
I
you hear
can
me?
hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason it stopped. I don't know why. Yeah, I was just
Oh
saying,
shit.
yeah, Periphery 4, Hail Stan in 2019 after a 3-year break. Um, I'll just go ahead and say I love this idea of getting into religion. Um, so I was already excited about this. I think you sent me the single Blood Eagle, which
Dude.
uh yeah, which is pretty
It's
much the
a
heaviest song they've ever
yeah,
released.
it was just like I heard it and I was like, okay, Periphery's back. Like this is the Periphery that I missed, man. This is the gent single that I needed from this like prominent gent band, you know what I mean? So it's super super powerful album in their discography. Um Opens up with a song Reptile that is crazy long. It's like what 17-minute song or something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that.
It's insanely long for a Periphery song, and like I thought that was so surprising. You don't get that with a gent band, but if you were like me, like this was in my sawmill working days, and that was a very laborious job. So like I would just throw an album on and get to work, hands-on kind of work. So I remember jamming this album, and I liked it, but I remember that song, um, just kind of checking it, and I was like, oh my God, like this one song still got this is still Reptile. Okay, that's badass, but. Yeah, I had no clue, dude. Like at first that I was listening to the same track, but that I think is the genius behind that. Like that's what makes the 17-minute track doable is if it's just great throughout. And
Hmm.
that's one of those songs that's yes, it's crazy long, but it just makes total sense. Um, it's that long for a reason, clearly. But
Yeah.
great, dude. Great, great track. Great album though. Reptile and the Blood Eagle. Church Burn is good. Garden of the Bones is good. Um, And then, I do think that it kind of fell short on the second half. It still is listenable all the way through, but the ending songs aren't quite as prominent for me as the first half of this album. Um, but still really good in their discography. I think I'd probably give this one an 8.4.
I gotcha. I'm in agreement with you. I do think the second half is very forgettable. However, it's I also like to go back to this album purely for because when it first came out, I was excited, but I was a little let down because you know me, when it comes to long songs, I can't do long songs too much, and when you put it on the very first track of the album, I'm gonna have a hard time. But the more I've listened to Reptile, I love Reptile, especially that the length and then the ending, the epicness. I think that how long it is adds makes that ending so much more powerful and so much better, and I love it, especially that
Hmm.
that ending chug at the end. I love,
Yeah,
I love it. And then leads into Blood Eagle, banger. Church Burner, if I remember right, that was a banger. Garden of the Bones, I want to say is a little bit softer, but it was still good. But
yeah.
yeah, like you said, the second half falls off. But I would, I feel like that first part of the album is going to give me probably a solid 8.2. This is it's still a good album. I think it's a good return to form from Periphery 3. And like I said, I love the idea of talking about religion in kind of a critical fashion, especially with Blood Eagle with the whole Vikings and stuff. Um, I love that concept. So yeah, I'm gonna give this an 8.2. What was your an eight? What?
I think 8.4.
Okay, so 16.6. Well,
Wow, it kind of split up the double album, huh?
what's that?
Oh, okay. I was thinking that it split up the double album, but
Oh wait, what am I doing? I didn't have to move
yeah, I
that.
was like, wait.
16.6. Periphery 4. Hail Stan. All right. Up next, we have Periphery 5. What? Gent is not a genre. Um,
It's it's a riffer, man. They still came out swinging. I just don't know that this is as memorable for me as other Periphery albums. Like I hear it and I like what I'm hearing, but I don't get like those signature hooks that are memorable from this album. Like Wildfire, yeah, I can repeat that chorus. Wildfire, like, he kind of does that in the chorus, but then I'm just like, I don't know what the song's about. I don't know. It's just not very clear to me. Um, but that is still a good song. Atropos, great groove. I like that. I don't know. It's just not a lot of memorable stuff to me on this album. What's your thoughts on it?
you're actually kind of saying a lot of things I was thinking because I've listened to this, I think, all the way through twice now. Um, and I remember liking it like more than Periphery 3, but I feel like I'm having the same issue with Periphery 3 to where I can't really remember much from listening to it. Um,
Yeah.
I want to say it's a short track list, but it's like their longest album to date. So I want to say each song's like almost 7 minutes long, if I remember right.
Wow.
So I remember they even released. I want to say they released Wildfire and I forget the other song at the same time, and those two songs were 13 or 14 minutes long. So it's one of those
Wow.
things like, okay, this is a lot. It's good, but it's a lot. And it's not like Periphery 4 or Periphery 2 or Juggernaut where it has like these memorable parts. It's just it's good, but it's not something that's sticking with me. Yeah, Wildfire is pretty much the only one I really remember. Like I said, I've listened to this twice. I'm probably gonna give this a
Dagrius, that's another good track on this album. Dracul Grass. They kind of have like this dead zone in the center of this album, I feel like because you kind of have like those two songs that are kind of towards the end of the album that I do
mhm.
think are memorable mentions, but other than that, man, yeah, it's just I don't know. It unfortunately just kind of fell short for me.
Also, I feel like the title is like I feel like you're a little 14 years too late on this joke when it comes to the title. Like I don't feel like anyone really talks about gent being a genre anymore.
Um, yeah, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they were definitely kind of late on that train. Um, yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I didn't think it was like yeah, well said.
Oh
It's
no, it's just
kind
one
of
of those
past
things like
timing on that.
it's one of those
Past
things
way
like
past timing on that subject.
yeah, it's one of those things like I think of it as the package thing. So obviously the cover is gonna be the first thing I see. Like saying the impression. It's not a bad cover, not great, but it's not bad either. Then the title's like, okay, it's a little I get it, but I mean, it's almost like an album in 2010 having their album called What's Up or something like that. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like the
That would
joke
have
is
been great,
past.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Till comes
actually would
out
have
with an
liked that
album
top.
called What's Up.
Yeah, that would have been actually way better. Or I was even thinking like embrace the gent,
Mm-hmm.
because you are gent, like they're undeniably gent. So just do Periphery 5 gent-tastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Or
or
now that's what I call gent.
yeah, 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 absolutely, dude. That would have been great. That would have been absolutely great. But yeah, gent is not a genre. It's just like nobody cares anymore. It is a genre. It was a genre that was like kind of forced into existence. Gent bands kind of denied it, like Meshuggah, which is crazy. I feel like they kind of created the genre, but they were
Yeah.
just like, no, we're not gent. Just like, okay, yeah, you are, but okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're
I'm good.
they're they're definitely out of the. Sorry, I'm kind of derailing. Side note, they're kind of like they're gent, but they're kind of like their own sort of realm of
Yeah.
gent. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. I think the only reason Meshuggah tries to distance themselves is probably because they don't want to be associated with all these newer bands that were doing because they've been doing it forever.
Right? Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, I'm gonna give this album probably just a flat 7.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think I'm with you there. I think I'm gonna throw 7 at it too.
So just a straight 14.
All right, there we go. So at number one, we have at 19.5, we have Periphery 2. Number two slot, we got 18.5 with Periphery's Juggernaut Alpha. Number three at
Nice.
16.6, we have Periphery 4, Hail Stan. Number four is a tie between Periphery 1 and Juggernaut Omega at 15. Five, we got Periphery 5 with Gen is not a genre. And bottom of the list, we got Periphery 3, Select Difficulty.
Nice. Nice. That is it's still a great discography, man. If you have not listened to Periphery, I still suggest you check them out. I know we have some friends that, don't get into the cleans and stuff like that, but I when I first picked up this band on your recommendation, I can understand that argument, like how Spencer Sotelo, like his cleans are very prominent in this band.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're obscurely prominent. Like whenever you hear them, you're like, wow, it's kind of like this really poppy, clean singy vocal on top of this heavy music. But I really think his nasty screams make up for it. And it just works over time for me in
Mm-hmm.
this band. It's like I get both sides of that argument though. And
Yeah.
so but it's I don't know, man. The talent's there. Like I just think this band is owed the attention because the talent is clearly there. They got a stellar lineup of musicians that are still going strong. I think you've had there's been a member or two that's kind of I don't know that they tour anymore, like the bassist that's done all the recording and production and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's kind of laid back to do those things versus like tour with him and stuff. So, but still collectively, man, they're just a stellar group of dudes making killer music. So I'll always check them out, and I look forward to future music from them because I know that they got some still some good music to write. So
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that they do a great uh balance between the nastiness and the cleanness, and I think that kind of makes it interesting a little bit more. I'm not too into Gent, but this is a band like as soon as if they come up with new music, I'll check it out. Um,
for sure,
yeah, great musicians. And I like that even some of them are very kind of adamant, like with Mark Holcomb. I guess he's super into black metal, and that's why they came out with that Dark Throne esque T-shirt from him when they were touring.
that
Um,
was so good. Damn, I used to have that song, dude, and I don't know what happened to it.
yeah,
I
it
don't
was
know
a
if I
cool
bought
one.
a medium and got too fat for it or something
Didn't you
or
turn
what,
into
but
a tank for a while?
I might have. I don't know. I definitely don't have it anymore. I'm kind of sad about it, but yeah, it was cool as hell. I definitely miss it.
Yeah, this is a great band, great discography. Don't let the gent bother you or the clean vocals. Just they have a lot of dimensions that makes them great. Check them out, especially if you're like me and you love themes, overarching ideas, and just some interesting concepts. Great band to check out. So,
For sure. For sure.
I think you are up next for picking. Who who do you want to rank next?
Okay. We're in the kind of spooky era season.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, Halloween just passed and everything. So I'm thinking we need to do a black metal band with some corpse paint, spooky vibes going on. So I'm going to throw some bands out and I'll let you take a pick. And I'm
Okay.
going to kind of throw a wad at you, but we've talked about all three here recently. Um, Cradle Filth, Dimmu Borgir, or Mayhem.
Cradle Fifth has a lot of albums. Is the only thing.
Yeah. They'd be an assignment. That's not even homework. That's a fucking study.
So I would probably stick with probably Demu Burger or Mayhem. I feel like Demu Burger has a lot of albums too, though, don't they? Probably not as obviously not
Uh,
as many as Cradle, but
yeah, not as many. Let me scan real quick. We can kind of compare because honestly, I think I'd be willing to say they might have as many as Mayhem. No, I'm wrong. They got probably way more. See, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, um, 10, 11. I think 11 because they have some EPs in there too
you know
that
what?
are just like either live or some shit.
Let's do Demu Burger.
Okay.
I'm not super familiar with them, but I've listened to a couple albums. But also, so for those listening, we might not do this next episode. It's got some other stuff planned. Just to throw a little wrench in the routine, get spice things up a little bit. So, but
Yeah.
I'll do my homework. I'll listen to Dimmer Burger. So that's just the plan. But we might have some more surprises too. But yeah, that is the plan for the next ranking. We will do Dimmer Burger. Need to do that homework.
All right, man. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got. Next time you talk to us, we'll have hopefully a elected president by that time.
Maybe a
Yeah,
riot or two, I'd be
I don't
willing to
know.
say,
Spice
possibly.
things up. Actually, don't spice things
Yeah.
up. I am not advocating for that. Do not hold me liable. Um, but yeah, in the meantime, I mean, if you want us to check out new music, just hit us up on Facebook or at deathmetaldaddies@gmail.com. You can also follow us on TikTok, follow us on Facebook. Just check us out. Send us a message, whatever you want to do. But yeah, until then, see you next time.
See you next time. I'm Cam Brady. Get your vote in. See you next time. I'm Cam Brady.